This the book of Second Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and the end is manifest, even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonderful and powerful works, ending in effects and signs. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Elohim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Rule well been a great example to the younger brothers in the truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Lord willing is edifying.
World Trade Center 1 has been hit by lightning as Tropical Storm Henri battered New York. Look at that bolt. You can see it striking the top of the building in Lower Manhattan, connecting with the spire 550 meters above ground level.
After a day...
And these are all signs, man. We know who create the lightnings. We know who is in control of those things. And this Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Of course, Esau had harp and all these different things. But guess who controlling him? The Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Of sight absorbing the unfolding events, the president emerged to address the nation.
A tough day.
With details of what had happened.
On one of the darkest days for the U.S. military in more than a decade.
Something that's not getting a lot of attention right now is Vice President Harris is on a South Asian trip. She was just in Singapore. Then she flew to Vietnam. She has warned about China in the South China Sea. Can you talk about the U.S.-China brinksmanship that's going on right now?
The tragedy is that the U.S. leaving Afghanistan for the Biden administration is a chance to focus on what they call our main adversary, which is China.
The Vice President of the United States goes to Vietnam to call on Pacific Rim countries to face down China. China is doing some facing down of its own. China joining Russia and Iran. They're going to conduct their own military exercises in the Persian Gulf, no less, just as the U.S. has been conducting military exercises off the coast of China. And Russia both seem to be sending Washington a signal that they too can play war games.
We have just learned from the Pentagon, this is their statement, we can confirm that a number of U.S. service members were killed at the Kabul airport.
A huge explosion, mass casualties, people rushed to hospital.
So I know those are tough words, but these are tough times, and this incompetence has very real consequences, as we've seen today, and people should be held to account.
From the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, the Persian Gulf to the South China Sea, friends and foes alike are flexing their naval muscles in a show of military and strategic force spanning the globe.
This the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 14. It reads, The second woe, World War II, is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, World War III. And you see it, man, World War III is hastening greatly, goddamn it. It's coming fast, man. You know, but we know World War III, they can do as many military drills and whatever they want to do as much as possible. World War III ain't gonna come until what? The MOTB is implemented in the earth, man. The hour and temptation is gonna come upon the whole world to try them that dwell upon the earth, man. So you shouldn't even be worried about World War III, because all that is this. Let's get it real quick. In the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew chapter 21, and we're going to start at 3. This is the book of Matthew chapter 21 and verse 3. It reads, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, When shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So the end of what world? The end of the world of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The end of the world of the wicked. In the beginning, it say in the signs of Salakia. And what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? And Yahweh Shai, who the word England called Jesus, answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach. Christ, with the word English say Christ, and it's anointed of Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass. So all we seeing right now is wars and rumors of wars. You know, little proxy wars, not really nothing that's going to start World War III. And World War III ultimately is them nukes flying. Because this last war is going to be with nuclear missiles, man. It say, For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So we are in the beginning of sorrows.
Launched a series of naval exercises Tuesday, including live fire drills in the South China and Yellow Seas, ahead of the so-called Quad Alliance's upcoming naval drills later this week. The United States, India, Australia, and Japan will conduct surface, subsurface, and air operations, including live fire weapons drills off the coast of Guam starting Thursday. It's clearly a move to put some pressure on China and show the U.S.'s commitment to its allies. Not to be outdone, China is also planning another military exercise, possibly later this year or in early 2022, with Iran and Russia in the Persian Gulf, that, according to the Russian ambassador to Iran, will, quote, ensure the safety.
This the book of Joel, chapter 10, Joel chapter, This the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 10, say, Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. And China is considerably a weak nation because they're not a military nation. They were more agricultural, producing things, not fighting and, warships and jets and missiles. But now they are, man. And Iran definitely not, but they are building up. And guess who backing them? Russia. And Russia always have been a military power. That's why they formed the NATO in World War II, after World War II. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization or something like that, to go up against the Soviet Union.
Of international shipping and the fight against sea pirates. But clearly, it's not only about sea pirates. The China, Russia, and Iran naval drills will come close to U.S. military bases in the Persian Gulf region and will likely garner a response from the U.S. and its allies. This, as Vice President Harris is in Vietnam, part of her week-long Asia tour to court America's allies in an effort to counter China. During her visit to Singapore, the vice president took aim at China, saying the country posed a threat to other Asian nations and America's allies in the region, while accusing Beijing of coercion and intimidation in the South China Sea, where China continues to, according to Vice President Harris, push its unlawful territorial claims. But the vice president's Asia trip has largely been overshadowed by the ongoing situation in Afghanistan. And her trip to Vietnam got off to a curious and somewhat alarming start when it was delayed several hours due to a health situation in Hanoi. The U.S. Embassy there released a statement reading, quote, earlier this evening, the vice president's traveling delegation was delayed from departing Singapore because the vice president's office was made aware of a report of a recent possible anomalous health incident in Hanoi, Vietnam. After careful assessment, the decision was made to continue with the vice president's trip. The term anomalous health incident is basically the U.S. government's code word for the Havana syndrome, a neurological condition defined by dizziness, nausea, migraines, and memory loss, among other symptoms. It got the name after American officials based in Havana, Cuba, first reported experiencing the symptoms back in 2016. And since then, there have been dozens of other cases, more than 200 and counting, of U.S. State Department, CIA, and embassy personnel and other U.S. diplomats and officials reporting it in China, Russia, Vienna, Austria, and most recently, Berlin, Germany. At least 2 embassy staffers reportedly were sickened by these same symptoms and will at some point reportedly be medevaced out of Hanoi for treatment. Vice President Harris's spokesperson said the delay had nothing to do with the VP's health, but so far, the vice president has said nothing about the possible Havana syndrome health scare in Hanoi.
Tell me about what you make of U.S. officials warning the public, warning explicitly over and over again in recent days that an ISIS-K attack, ISIS Khorasan attack at the airport, targeting U.S. personnel, targeting civilians, just like we saw today, that it was not only a threat, but that it was a severe threat and an increasingly likely one.
It seemed to most of us that ISIS just came out of nowhere. We've been looking at this situation as United States versus Taliban. All of a sudden, we've got a third entree coming into this. Why did ISIS do this? What are they trying to prove?
I think that it was probably something that they've been working toward. They basically want to tell Taliban, look, you might think that you run the government, but we are actually in charge. There is a tremendous difference, disconnect between Taliban
and Esau and his CIA operatives got their hands in on all these different little groups and all this shit just to keep your eyes on what's really going on, man. All the things that had the world is a stage, goddamn. And it's all a play to keep you focused on what they want you to pay attention to and to the point to what. Because this shit then slipped out the window. They ain't talking about this no more, man. Too tough. It was just to keep people's eyes on that at the moment. And the same thing with everything else. They're going to keep your eyes on this. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing right here. You know, it's a distraction.
ISIS. They don't like each other. Taliban actually is more moderate than ISIS, and that's why you saw today reports that
that's it. Pardon me for interrupting, but I was taken by your words. ISIS, you say ISIS is telling the Taliban, you think you run this country? No, you don't. We run this country, or will soon.
And this tells you with certainty that Taliban will be unable to control ISIS or Al-Qaeda attacks on U.S. interests.
Then I have to ask you the following question. If that's true, when the U.S. commander today took to the microphone and said, we are working with the Taliban, it kind of makes sense.
It does in this case because Taliban has an ulterior motive. They need recognition. They need international recognition. They need funding desperately. U.S. has cut off $10 billion right now. They need money.
So they really are a common enemy.
They are a common enemy. Yes, they are, for the most part.
For both the United States and the Taliban, ISIS is a common enemy.
That is correct.
Interesting. Wow. But think about what we're telling our viewers tonight. We were at war with the Taliban for 20 years, and just a week and a half after we're done with the war, now we're siding with them against another enemy. That sounds crazy, even if it does make sense, as you just explained to us.
Much of the Louisiana and Mississippi Gulf Coast is bracing for what could be a major hurricane this weekend. Tropical storm Ida is moving toward the Gulf of Mexico and is expected to make landfall on Sunday.
Tonight, a new tropical storm has just been named, expected to become a powerful hurricane headed toward the Gulf.
In Tennessee, after that record-breaking rain and a devastating...
Tonight, new images of the catastrophic destruction in parts of Middle Tennessee.
Henri, the first tropical storm to hit the region in nearly 15 years.
Henri trounced through New York City Saturday night with a torrential rainfall, setting a record for the most rain in a single hour with nearly 2 inches. The downpour forced a halt to the star-studded homecoming concert in Central Park.
Please seek shelter for your safety.
Oh, I missed. A lightning bolt hit the top of the monument. Officials who work there say the strike actually damaged the monument's electronic access system.
This the book of Psalms, chapter 63. Chapter 83 and verse 13. Oh Yahweh, it say, "Oh my God, make make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with tempests, and make them afraid with thy storms. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai." With that, Lord willing, this edifying, I want to end it giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, rule web, and the greatest honor to the young brothers in the truth, and peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Abba, Shalom.